I call to order the Waverly City Council for September 18th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as distributed by our city clerk, Carla Geyer? A motion, seconded?
Second.
Motion second, council discussion. All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed with no, it becomes our agenda. Is there a motion to approve the August 28th minutes, also as distributed by our city clerk?
Move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
Council discussion. All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed with no. They are official minutes. The guest council person for this month will be here next week, hopefully. This time, I'd like to entertain comments by the public on any items not on the agenda for this evening. Do know that we have our community garden effort to have a little update on, so we invite them forward.
Right, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I appreciate the opportunity to share with you what we've done at the gardens this past year. My name is Joe Dunn. I'm the garden supervisor for 2017, and other members is Ron Link and then Bill Deckard that are a very important part of the gardens. We've had a very good year down there, and it's production to date is 8,305 pounds. That appears from the information I got, that is a record. The previous record was 2014 at 5,300 pounds. So we've done very well, but that's attributed to a couple of things. We've had I think weather's cooperated. Of course, in a garden that we need to have a decent environment and weather to cooperate. We didn't get a lot of rain, but we had timely rains. Maybe the first part of June we had to water quite a bit, and that helps when we can use a city hydrant right there to water when we're a little bit dry. But as we progressed along, August was a little bit cooler than normal, and in a garden environment, a little bit cooler weather is nice, so we can, we're able to keep up with the harvest and so forth. And perhaps a big factor this year, we've had quite a few volunteers that have helped in the garden. When you harvest 8,000 pounds of produce, everything's by hand, and that takes a fair amount of effort in it by many people. Many people make light work. But, I would like to, some of the groups that we've had, of course, we have individuals that come occasionally, and some folks come on a very regular basis. Of course, Bill here is down there almost on a daily basis, and then one of our neighbors, Blaine, he's down there on a very regular basis. And Dave Arns, who many of you may know, he's part of the Exchange Club, and he's a math teacher at WSR, and he has put forth quite an effort as far as his presence, and then he came up with the idea of having school faculty come down one day to harvest. This was right when school started, and the produce then went to the school lunch for the next couple of days, and I thought that was a really fantastic idea, and that was Dave's brainchild. But over the year, we've had the Waverly members of the Waverly Exchange Club come down. AmeriCorps. Bill has helped some of the Wartburg students this past summer. We've had another group of business and professional women come down and help on a given night. And again, many hands make light work. And also, and individuals come down on a frequent basis. And again, we can always use help. There's always a little bit more that needs to be done down there. Maybe clean up a little bit. Maybe just keep just a little. Make sure we're keeping ahead of the harvest and so forth. Of course, the produce is donated to many organizations in the area. Northeast Iowa Food Bank would be the major recipient, but we also donate to Waverly Senior Housing, the Senior Center, Cedar Valley Friends of the Family. I know Bill has taken produce to agencies in Denver as well. So the produce gets distributed to many organizations locally. We probably have, I don't know, we're getting to the end of our harvest. Our cleanup day is at the end of the month, and we're probably, we're probably going to have 200 to 400 pounds more produce. Unless we get an early frost, then we're done. But the outlook doesn't look that way. So what we're doing now, we're finishing, we're still harvesting some. We're getting ready for next year. As the plants are spent, we're cleaning them up. We're planting a few cover crops for preparation for next year to help soil structure and whatnot. And so we're working on this year, but we're thinking ahead for next year. And I would like to thank the city for their support as far as helping with providing the land and for preparation. I know one day to fill up some of the raised beds we had the city down there with a loader tractor filling beds, helping us fill raised beds for us. And of course we have the water down there, and anytime you can irrigate during the dry spells, that certainly is helpful as well. And finally, I'd like to present Bill with a gift card, because again, I mentioned Bill here spends countless hours down there. All right. Thank you, Bill.
Well, thank you.
And that's a token of our appreciation for Bill's efforts. He by far puts more hours than anyone else, and his contribution is a big part of the garden's success. And so thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, super much.
Could I make a couple of comments and ask a question? My first comment is I'm really impressed with what you folks do. It's a great thing for the city. The second comment is it sounds like, if it's true, I'm impressed with the fact that high school kids are willing to eat vegetables. And my question is, do you know how many volunteers altogether are involved during the course of the season?
We'll work that out at the end. I've been keeping numbers as we move forward.
I think you better come to the mic on this one and start over for the listening public, watching public.
Okay, the question is volunteer hours and so forth. And as each day we record the number of volunteers down there, and at the end of the year I'll add up the number of volunteer man hours that are put down there. And I hope Bill keeps track of his own hours, because he's there when no one else is around. So
we'll look forward to the exact number later.
And any other questions?
No, but I'd like to express my appreciation too. I was down one day, I'm embarrassed to say just one day, helping a little bit with planting and watering, and have it on my calendar with best intentions and haven't been back. But I was impressed with the organization, the size, the quantity of things that are planted and harvested, and the places to which they go. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Again, we appreciate the city help. And I guess this patch should illustrate the potential, the hidden potential of urban gardening. That of course, at one time there were houses there, and we're making the best of a bad situation. But I'm just saying that with some help from Mother Nature and so forth, and volunteer help, that we can produce an awful lot of food from a small patch of ground. And I think there's even room for there's always room for improvement. But I think there's certainly Waverly and other cities. I think there's a place for urban gardening to for land utilization and for, to use that human potential that's out there too. So, thank you.
Can you say anything about the orchard?
I'll have Ron do that.
Thank you. I'm Ron Lent with Iowa State Extension. Been involved with this even from the first planning days back in 2010 when Tab and Mark Anderson called a meeting. The orchard itself, this was the first year we're harvesting. We're up at 360-some pounds. There's about 60 trees out there. We've been adding 4, 5, 10 a year as grants allow. So, in fact, I was harvesting tonight earlier before he got here. So it's coming along. There's 7 varieties there. So we got cross-pollination. A couple of new varieties we got out of Cornell University that are some new genetics, so we'll try those out there too. So, yeah, it's intriguing. The apples have been going to the food bank. A couple of local churches have picked some up. We just started a couple weeks ago. So far so good. And thank you for the city. This has been a great partnership, and everybody wins. We have a representative from the food bank here for you.
Hello, my name is Janelle, and as Ron said, I'm from the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. I'm in AmeriCorps Vista there working on food security, and I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the food bank for all the work that Waverly Community Share Garden has done, and also just the great partnership that we have with them. Of those 8,000 plus pounds that they have produced, at the food bank, we've received 3,917. And as Joe said, I'm sure there'll be some more donations, but we really do appreciate the partnership that we have with them. It's pretty unique. We get those local donations, and then we can send it out locally through different programs at the food bank, whether it's in our pantry or in the mobile food pantries also. So thank you.
Tab, is there any final words that you need to make? Tab makes us look good.
The city council charged me years ago with using the floodlots on a productive basis, and this is one of the things we did. I want to make sure that you know that Ron Length has had a major role in it. In fact, I'm not a farmer. I was not a garden kid or anything like that. So basically, we listen to what he says and we do it. We started with flat grounds, raised about 500 pounds the first year, but we were about a month late in planting. And then Ron started making us build raised gardens, and we're up to, 66? 65 raised gardens. And not only does that make old men like me not have to bend over as far, but it just seems to be a very efficient way to raise food. And we hope to continue this. If we can expand it, that's fine. But we do really appreciate all the volunteerism that we've had this year.
Thank you, Tim.
We have other public comments on anything not on tonight's agenda. We have 9 items on tonight's consent calendar. We have 2 Stanley Consultant bills, one for the FEMA map revision, one for Parkway East. We have 2 McClure engineering bills, one for the airport extension, and the other for 20th Street Northwest work. We have T&W grinding and compost. They did the shearing logs and grinding brush piles, and we have a bill to pay there. We have a wine permit for Meyer Pharmacy. We have 2 liquor licenses, one for OP and the other for East Bremer Diner. And we have the cash disbursements for the month of August to approve. Is there a motion?
I'll move the approval of the consent agenda.
A second, please.
Second?
Motion second. All in favor signify with yes.
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 No. Regular business item number 1 is to amend our city code zoning district designation titles to accommodate the new R1A and C2A districts, which expands the districts from 14 to 16. This is the second reading. Let's go directly to a motion.
I'll move the second reading of ordinance 1026, an ordinance amending Chapter 100, Section 100.3.01, districts designated of the Waverly Municipal Code, amending district designation titles.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion seconded. Council discussion. Public input on this matter? Roll call vote, please.
Angus.
Yes.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Scher.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Second reading of ordinance 1026 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 2 is to extend the lot line of property 2701 East Bremer Avenue east by .43 acres to its natural boundary of a creek. City Administrator, this comes, I think, with unanimous approval of planning and zoning, which is important, but are there any city concerns on this one?
I don't believe so, sir. It follows the comprehensive land use plan, which is one of the major things you want to look at. And again, it's just a minor movement of the subdivision line to the natural boundary of the creek. So I don't believe there's any city issues with this, and I think it was unanimous.
Motion, please.
I would move resolution 17-121, a resolution approving a parcel GG minor subdivision plot for residential property at 2701 East Bremer Avenue in Northeast Waverly.
Second.
Second.
Motion second. Council discussion on this matter? Is there any public input? Roll call vote.
Angus.
Yes.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Scher.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Resolution 17-121 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 3 is a 5-year farm lease agreement with Nicholas Miller as part of our airport safety zone project. City Manager, again, for the public, these are terms of part of the purchase agreement and just the automatic.
This is just the lease of that property from the clan property back to them for the farming that they were going to be doing. It's a 5-year lease, I think renewable every year. Nicholas Miller, I think, has farmed the ground, so it was natural that we would extend that offer to him to continue to do so. And that's really what is before you is a fairly standardized lease we've used for other individuals farming, and at the same price others are paying as well. So it's a fair market for it.
Good. Motion, please.
Move approval of Resolution 17-123, resolution approving the signing of a farm lease agreement with Clan Properties LLC and Nicholas Miller for the Waverly Municipal Airport Safety Zone project for the amount of $225 per acre.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Council discussion?
Was the 5-year time period, was that part of the purchase agreement?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Does it, I mean, I understand that was part of it, and therefore I would approve this, but it seems like a long time.
It was done because of the presence of the machine shed that's going to be used for that 5 years, and there's other improvements. It'll take a couple of years for the project to get the house removed and some of the other trees cleared. Once that's done, then he'll have all those tillable acres that are now taken up by trees or a building. And so that the number of acres that he'll be able to farm actually will increase once those are removed. But in the meantime, he gets the use of the machine shed. So it had to be kind of tied together for that 5 years.
And the price is locked in, the lease, the rental price per acre is locked in for 5 years as well?
Yes, it's locked in for 5 years. They're actually paying rent on all the acres, even though some of it's tillable and some of it's not. And that's just to take into consideration the use of the machine shed.
Thank you.
Good questions. Others?
Doesn't have anything really to do with the farm lease, but I've been asked just to remind folks that the fire department would like to be able to use the house for training at any given point, either non-live burn or even live burn training. So as you get closer to bringing it down, keep us in mind. And
Other discussion? Public input on this matter? Roll call vote, please.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Scher?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Resolution 17-123 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 4 is to complete our downtown alley reconstruction project. Let's go directly to a motion.
I move approval of Resolution 17-124, resolution accepting the Downtown Alley Reconstruction 2017 project as complete and approving change order number 1 and final pay request to Feldman Concrete of Dyersville, Iowa.
Got a little missing stuff in there, Mike.
I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. Want me to start again?
Change order, approving change order number 1, 4, then pick it up.
For the final adjustment of quantities in the amount of $4,360.50, increase and final pay request in the amount of $2,162.23 to Feldman Concrete of Dyersville, Iowa.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion seconded. Council discussion.
Am I correct in understanding this, that the increase is primarily the result of materials?
Yes.
Isn't it a pretty significant increase given the overall price? I mean, yeah.
The west end of the alley, we were intending to basically salvage, but due to extensive utility work that occurred after the plans were developed, it was decided it would be in the best interest to remove and replace the last, I think it was the last 30 feet of the alley plus the alley approach.
Okay, thanks.
Going east or west on that alley?
It was the west end that
West
along
end.
First Street that we
Right where all
added.
the
Yeah,
activity
we
was.
rebuilt some curb and gutter and reset the intake and so we expanded the project a little bit further than we originally intended, but that was, kind of the right thing to do given the condition of the alley as the result of some construction activity that took place this spring.
And I think we'll all agree it looked pretty good. It was
Yeah, I
well
was
done.
in favor of the project. I just, the
Yeah, no, no, yeah,
explanation
no.
helps a lot.
Yep.
Thank you.
Other
Budgetarily,
councilman?
still within budget, even with the addition, so
Oh, okay.
we were fine.
Thank you. Public input on this matter. Roll call vote.
McKenzie?
Yes.
Scher?
Yes.
Waldstein?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Lampe?
Yes.
Resolution 17-124 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 5 is a sewer main extension and upgrade for the Robert Denny 218 property just north of the new Quick Star building. City Administrator for the public, how will this work?
We've been working with Mr. Denny to run a sewer line across his property to the Centennial Oaks Outlet A portion, or the driving range that will soon be developed. This will allow us to make sure that there is proper sewer put in, connected correctly on the 4th Street, and then allow us to assist in that, as it will benefit greatly the city overall when that development takes place and it starts to occur. And so that was really the reason why we went ahead and partnered in with Mr. Denny to get this done. And he was very generous to do this and partner in with us. He certainly did not have to do it, and it made it a very sensible approach to getting something accomplished that was necessary in order to allow that to be developed going forward.
Thank you. Yes, we're looking forward to the progress there. Motion, please.
I would move approval of Resolution 17-125, a residential approving a development agreement with Robert Denny to contribute city funds for installation of a sanitary sewer main extension from 4th Street to Outlet A of Centennial Oaks Golf Club Edition.
For the not to do a little more.
That's all I see on mine.
It's not a hot, I was going to say the same thing. It's not a hot link to pull anything down for some reason.
Yes, there wasn't an attachment there either, but
Right.
to finish it out, the addition, the the Centennial Oaks Golf Club Edition for a not to exceed amount of $31,730.
Second, please.
Now I feel a little more comfortable.
Second.
I want that blank check.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Second, please.
I seconded that.
Motion seconded. Council discussion on this matter?
I wonder if maybe somebody could just fill us in a little bit more on the detail. I'm supportive of this project, but because of the glitch here, could somebody just talk a little bit about that?
Bill addressed.
Great.
And when we first saw that the driving range could be developed, we were trying to figure out the best way to get a sanitary sewer connection to that property. And we also saw that Mr. Denny was starting to develop the old automotive store, and he has plans for potential development of additional ground around there. He would have had to put in a sewer service to his own additional construction if you build a new building there. And so we discussed with him the idea of just going through the parking lot, underneath the parking lot with a main, and then he would connect to that main just as if somebody else would connect to it. So we'll have an easement and a main through underneath his parking lot, and he will be able to connect to it for his future development of additional buildings on that property.
And the 31,000 is for?
That's actually the bid for the entire project, so we assume we're going to pay him a little less than that because he'll get some benefit out of this himself. But he's also giving us an easement and a 30-foot easement across and the water main underneath his parking lot. So
This is certainly the shortest route for us to do it.
yes, the shortest extension. And the developer of that property will have significant land to still have to extend that main, the connections to that main into their property. We're just getting it to the edge of their property so that they can hook into it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this matter?
Budget-wise, where is this coming out of?
It's either going to be, we put it in our urban renewal plan as a project, so we can use TIF monies. It could also be used out of the sewer fund, I believe, because it's going to be providing a main.
This may be almost completely irrelevant to what we're voting on, but it does make me curious. What does Mr. Denny have in mind for his property? What's going to become of that building?
Well, it's actually configured for a potential of at least, or at most, 4 separate stores. Those stores could be combined. The storefronts could be combined, so you could have one double. It's like saying there's 4 units, but you could have 1 or more added together, so they could be a 2 or 3 or 4 unit. And he's hoping to have the parking lot done so that he can start marketing that. It's taken a little while. There's going to be some work to do with that parking lot and getting it connected with Quickstar. They've been working with us on planning for how that the in and out will happen and how it will work with Quickstar, so that there won't be so many conflicts. They won't connect their parking lot right up front by the intersection. They'll be going into their place back more along where the building is, where the Quickstar building is. So that will keep some ability to stack cars in there without having problems. We're trying to minimize and help them, work with them. And their engineers were working with us and quite some time on this. So we hope this is going to be a successful development here.
So it's going to be a very compact strip mall, sounds like.
It's sort of that, yeah. And there may be a freestanding building or two. It's a fairly deep property. It's a fairly good-sized property.
Thank you for your economic development hat. You do very well. Thank you, Bill. Public input on this matter? Roll call vote, please. Yep, here comes public.
Just a quick question. Is this just going to be sewer, or is there going to be a water main put back in with this?
Just sewer.
Just sewer?
Water will come from a different direction.
Other public comment? Roll call vote, please.
Scherer.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Lampe.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Resolution 17-125 is unanimously approved. It's our agenda. Staff comments.
I don't believe we have any, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then I would ask if we have any council comments. Maybe we'll start with Dan.
If you haven't been on the west end of Highway 3, it looks like they've taken all the barricades down there, so you've got 4 lanes to drive on, and it's a joy to do that. I do know that the businesses that are being impacted with the current construction, it's not quite as easy to get to their back door as it is downtown, so I would just encourage folks to frequent the Jimmy John's and the Family Home Video and the sandwich shops on that end of town. They certainly need our support when it's difficult to get to their front door. Yeah, Waverly newspaper.
Dell's Diner, yeah. We'll get them all.
Yep. Again, it's just tough to get to the front door or even the back door in those sections, so.
Mike?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, just want to ask Mike, now that we have that section finished up to Casey's, when should we expect to see more demolition going on from there further on towards Wartburg?
That'll be next year.
Temp?
Good.
Good for tonight. Okay. Mr. Lampy?
Nothing.
Mrs. Waldstein?
No comment. on
No
anything.
comments.
No comments.
Okay.
Yep. No comment, no comments. No, I don't have anything.
This is very noteworthy, public. No, I'm kidding. Okay, Mayor will comment, just announced that, got a thank you note to the city here from the Iowa State University Extension and Outreach Community and Economic Development Office. They had an academy for all kinds for clerks and deputy clerks and finance officers, administrators, and Carla Geyer attended and said she was the outstanding no, okay, but she did well and has this nice letter of approval, but thank you for. You wonder why the city moves so smooth a lot. It's because not only is Carla on the trade, but she keeps up. So thank you, Carla, for your good work.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Adjourn.